Okay, so we got a really good question, which I'm going to be careful to indicate that I don't really know the answer, but I have something to say. Which is many times the situation for me. I don't know the answer, but I can talk. So I think the question was, do Japanese citizens live longer than Americans? But I'm not going to answer that because I don't know the answer. Maybe somebody can Google it while I'm doing this. But I'm going to talk about something else, and that is that 20 years ago, there were no weight loss surgeons in Japan. And similarly, in Europe, in France, in China, there weren't a need for bariatric surgery. Now, over the past 20 years, things have changed. And I can give you an example because one of my patients graduated as an MBA from MIT in Boston. So she got her Master's of Business Administration, a very lovely young woman, and she got a job as the financial advisor to the royal family of Bahrain. Okay? And she called and she wants to help set up a weight loss surgery program over there because over the past 30 years, Bahrain has gone from kind of a group of poor Bedouins who could barely make ends meet to fabulously wealthy people. And along with that wealth has come American fast food restaurants. And with that has also come rampant obesity and diabetes, such that, according to her, over the past several years, up to 30% of the population are diabetic and obese. So that's my patient story. So what we see is that now there are bariatric surgeons in Japan. Now there are bariatric surgeons in China, Australia, and particularly, remember the book, Why French Women Don't Get Heavy? There's a book like that. Do you remember that? Well, now there are bariatric surgeons in France. So the French women are getting heavy. And they are following the lead of the Americans as we move to that kind of fast food diet. Now, having said that, you could say, oh, I get it. So you're saying, Dr. Rutledge, that basically our diet and exercise change over the past 30 years is the cause for our obesity. And I'd say yes. And so then you say, well, therefore, the solution is just eat less fast foods and exercise more. Wouldn't that solve our obesity problem? And the answer to that is, unfortunately, no, and let's see if I can explain why. I can destroy a car with a sledgehammer, okay? But once it's destroyed, I can't fix it with a sledgehammer. So what we found is that by eating this new American diet and lack of exercise, it uncovers this disease of obesity and diabetes and high blood pressure and sleep apnea, the kind of metabolic syndrome in our patients. But just going back and saying I'm going to stay out of McDonald's and I'll exercise a little bit more just means I'm not going to hit the car quite so much with a sledgehammer. The car doesn't get better. The dents don't magically undo themselves. The destroyed engine and the broken front grille don't kind of pop back in by just decreasing the amount that you hit it with a hammer. So once it's broken, it takes something fairly radical to get back. But it is clear that the McDonald's fast food lack of exercise has caused this illness because we can see it spreading around the world. Unfortunately, it's not fixable by just saying, I think I'll eat less fatty foods and exercise more.